If you clicked on this video wondering why on earth is this girl gonna tell me not to buy The Ordinary, well, you're in the right place. There's definitely a select type of skincare user, in my opinion, that would really clash with this brand, so we're gonna talk all about it in today's video. I'm gonna outline the pros and the cons, reasons why I think that you could consider this brand, and reasons why I think it may not work for you, and some cons that I have found with the brand that are a little problematic. So if you're wondering if you are the type of person that would really mesh well with this brand, or maybe someone that should just pick something else, then just keep watching. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be continuing my truth series on this channel, highlighting a brand that gets a ton of attention and one that's been on a lot of people's minds as of late, The Ordinary, a skincare brand that is prided on two major pillars, and that is the fact that they are extremely affordable, as in most prices of these items are literally in and around 10 Canadian dollars, which is extremely cheap. We're often talking even less than drugstore products at times, so this is a game changer. They're also super known for being transparent and accountable when it comes to ingredients, and that's something that I actually really love about this brand. Skincare companies can often hide harmful ingredients in their lists, and some don't even disclose their lists in full. There's definitely been some brands that I've gone to their website, tried to click on a full ingredient list, and they literally just highlight key ingredients but don't tell me what the whole list is. To me, that's a bit deceitful and something that I don't appreciate from a brand. So the fact that The Ordinary is incredibly accountable when it comes to what is actually inside their products is amazing. The Ordinary is also a cruelty-free brand, which is something that I know is important to a lot of you. There's also some companies that claim to be cruelty-free, but still somehow sell to mainland China, and as far as I understand it, the laws are still in place for product testing on animals for imported goods coming in to mainland China, so I don't understand how these companies are getting away with it, or if they are saying that they are cruelty-free in other places, but the reality is true cruelty-free status would not sell to mainland China, and The Ordinary fits this bill. They do not sell to mainland China because of their laws, and I do respect that. Another thing that I found really, really interesting is that they really back their products. So if you order The Ordinary off of their website, you can actually return the item within 365 days, which means a full year return policy. This is something I have really never heard of, and another thing that's very impressive. Lastly, when it comes to picking out products, The Ordinary tries to do a really good job of kind of clarifying which products are for what. So we'll get to that a little bit more, but I think that their chart is a really good start. Their chart offers by product, which product is gluten-free, which product is vegan. And for those of you with certain preferences, this is a really good kind of snapshot to see if this product is truly worth it for you. Now let's get into some of the cons of this brand, because this is also really why you probably clicked on this video. What could be so bad about The Ordinary, if anything? Well, to be honest with you guys, there is a lot of problematic things that I see with the brand, especially catering to a skincare beginner. When you think of a price point in and around $10, you think of every single skincare user that's going to be able to access this type of product line. If you think about it, that goes to preteens, teens, young adults, and into older adulthood. Basically, a big span of people can afford this stuff. And from a business perspective, great. But think about your audience, especially preteens, teens, and people just getting into skincare. The first con has to do with how easy it is to put a skincare routine together with this brand. The Ordinary offers a wide variety of products. Just going on their website, they have everything by drop-down category on their site. So when you look at direct acids, they have 8 different types of active acids. This to me is going to be a little bit problematic for someone that is new to the skincare game. If you have acne, what type of acid should I use? Should I use salicylic in mask or solution? Should I use lactic, 10% or 15? Should I use glycolic? Should I use AHA, BHAs? Or azelaic acid? Like, this is something that if you are new to skincare, you will become really lost really quickly. Obviously, this doesn't apply to the skincare user that's moderate to expert, who knows a lot about ingredients, compositions, percentages, things like that. These are people that have really done their research and figured out what's good for their skin. So when it comes to a line one like this for that user, pretty easy to kind of pick out the actives that they've worked well with in the past and kind of figure out what things will work. But for someone that's new to the game, even though it's under $10 or roughly around that price point, they're sort of wasting money by guessing. And that is a little bit of a downfall, especially for a certain type of customer. The Ordinary does break down by product on their website what things are used for, etc. But when you think about certain types of acids, you think about AHA, BHA, this peeling solution they have. It says it targets dullness and textural irregularities, but then azelaic acid suspension 10%, which is another product, also does the same thing. So it's interesting because as a consumer, I'm not sure which one's gonna benefit me the most. So do I pick both of them or none of them? This brings me to my second con of The Ordinary, which is that I do find that you're most likely going to have to buy additional products on top of it. One thing that I will comment on right off the top of my head is there is only one cleanser in this line. Despite the fact that there are a ton of hydrators and oils and, peptides, active ingredients, things like that, there's one cleanser in this particular line. And it is actually a cleanser I've personally tried. It's the Squalene Cleanser, and this is a product that, in my opinion, when I used it, it did a fairly good job of cleansing the skin, but only if my makeup was completely off. It's not really a cleanser that takes off makeup really in one shot. I did find I had a ton of makeup that was left over, so I had to use multiple layers of the cleanser to get all of my makeup off. That resulted in me having to use my micellar water to cleanse my face first because I knew that that was a product that was going to take all of my makeup off in one shot. Once my makeup was off, it did a decent job of cleansing my skin, like I said, but already I'm relying on other products to do other tasks. Another point to consider is that often a lot of skincare companies will release products that tackle a number of different things at the same time, and often they're related kind of with regards to concern. If I think about my current routine that I'm using, I have an active serum that combines a ton of active acids together that are formulated perfectly based on laboratory science. It is a medical grade serum that I use, so everything is kind of like meshed together perfectly and tackles a ton of texture stuff all together. Texture, dullness, acne, gentle resurfacing of the skin. It does all of that for me in one product. However, it's a medical grade product that needs to meet certain requirements in order to be that type of product, so it is more expensive. That's why when it comes to comparing The Ordinary to other brands, it's really difficult to do so because it's just not the same thing. The Ordinary will offer a lot of one ingredient products at a time. There's a few kind of combination products, but a lot of them tend to be way more on the simplistic side and tackling one concern at a time. And if you're wanting to tackle multiple things, you do have to think about buying multiple products. Con number 3 really surprised me, and that is the fact that, believe it or not, there is fragrant and essential oil ingredients in the Ordinary line. Not in everything, but they do make an appearance in certain products, and this really surprised me. This is a brand that doesn't have a really strong fragrance smell like some other ones, and for some reason, I don't know why, but when I think about The Ordinary and the transparency of the ingredient lists and stuff, I feel like it's just like this overall impression that they've got to be fragrance-free too. It's definitely an assumption that comes to mind. The reality is, it's just not the case. I'm going to give one example of a fragrant product. I'm just going to pull up the glycolic acid toning solution, which is from The Ordinary. It's a 7% toning solution. So it's nice to see that glycolic acid, which is the active acid in this toner, is ingredient number 2, and that's perfect because it's also really, really frustrating as a skincare consumer when you have a brand market something as a certain active ingredient and it's down at the bottom of the list, which basically means that it's not active at all. Seriously, it needs to be up there in the first 5 when you're thinking about active ingredients. It needs to make a presence. So that's really good. But the first problematic ingredient comes in at number 3, which means it's in a very high concentration. And that is the rose water component of this toner. Rosa damascena, I think is how you say it, but this is basically the damask roses when you think about like plants. So when you think about certain types of roses, these are the damask roses. They're incredibly fragrant and they have been linked to skin irritation and essentially increasing your sensitivity over time. Because of the fact that it's in a rose water form, it's diluted with water, so it's not as strong, but there's still the presence of the essential oil in it. I am one that is extremely picky when it comes to fragrant products. I don't want any essential oils on my skin. So this toner is not one that I'd recommend because of of that fact, despite how affordable it is, this is an essential oil ingredient and it has been linked to skin irritation. So now the moment we've all been waiting for, and that is essentially the answer to the question about why I wouldn't recommend The Ordinary to you. There are certain type of skincare users that do not want to put the research in to figure out what their skin needs or what their skin will tolerate, to have certain skin concerns addressed, etc. They would rather just pick something off the shelf that was highly recommended by somebody else and therefore just try it on their skin. This to me is not compatible with The Ordinary because you really need to do your own research and to figure out what exactly you need from this line because your skin is different than everybody else's. If you have acne on your skin, acne unfortunately has a few different causes, not just one. So if your favorite blogger, your favorite skincare expert is like, this is what's going to treat your acne, you have to be careful because that might not be the same ingredient that would be effective for you. Our skin is also so unique in the fact that some react to certain things and some don't. It really just depends. So this is definitely a line that requires the homework needed to make sure that you know exactly what you're buying, not just picking something randomly off of the shelf and thinking it's gonna work. So if you are not into learning about ingredients in depth, this might not be for you. The second type of person that I think wouldn't benefit from this is someone that needs some guidance from an expert first. If you are brand new to skincare, you first have to figure out what are your goals. Because a lot of people will just think, I need a cleanser, a toner, a moisturizer, and a sunscreen. Sure, but not everybody needs a toner. This is considered an additional product and not one that I think you need to buy. A cleanser that's nice and gentle is great, a moisturizer is great, and sunscreen is a must. So those three I think are absolute necessities. If you're aging, you might consider a retinol, but definitely talk to a dermatologist. But when it comes to all these additional things like cold pressed marula oil and Moroccan argan oil and all these other things, AHA, BHAs, like that's only really if you're targeting a certain concern on your skin. Not everybody needs the same things. Some people could afford consulting an esthetician or talking to a dermatologist about this stuff, and if you can, I would highly recommend that so they can kind of at least start you in the right direction as to what products could really help you. I find that dermatologists really lean more towards simplistic. That's just my personal experience, so a lot of them will recommend Cetaphil, CeraVe, all of those types of cleansers, which are great. They're drugstore, so they're affordable. They get the job done. Those are the types of things you could start out with and just see how it goes. But if you're looking for more of like a multi-step routine that kind of targets a whole bunch of different things, estheticians are really well versed in medical grade lines, and that could be an arena for you to explore as well, especially if you're older. Because of how many choices there are, there could be a lot of risk for having a ton of acids in your routine, for instance. Like if somebody is really wanting to have the chemical exfoliation and they don't realize that they're buying glycolic acid, lactic acid, salicylic acid in all of the concentrations they offer, which are going to be higher because they're sole ingredients, like each of them have their own, you could actually end up causing more harm than good. So start really, really slow with this brand and really consult experts for some guidance because that's how you're going to save your money and also be closer to tackling the skin concern that you're actually after. In case you guys are wondering what I personally use, because I do get a ton of questions about this, I was one that really wanted to have an expert analyze my skin. I was sick of trying all of these things off the shelves left, right, and center, and I also had a goal of going truly fragrance-free with regards to essential oils and perfume kind of additives and products. So I did talk to an esthetician and I did talk to a dermatologist, but I was able to do so. If this is something that you're not able to do, start very gentle. So if you're wanting a video on just like the starter basics, do let me know down below and I would be happy to construct a very simple, easy to follow, beginner-friendly guide on skincare. What do you think about The Ordinary? Do you find it confusing at all or really overwhelming with choices? Or do you think this is just something that's like the best ever and it's so affordable, it's amazing? Do let me know all of your thoughts down below, and until my next video, take care. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.
But somewhere there's a light inside of us. It shows the way.